All right, so this video is all about how to survive winter in Calgary, but you'll notice it's actually summer right now. So it's pretty easy to talk about winter when it's like 25 degrees Celsius outside at the moment. But this video is going to be very helpful for you, especially if you are thinking of moving to Calgary. I'm going to give you some tips and some tricks and ideas and how to make Calgary a year-round playground. Okay, so the first tip to surviving a Calgary winter, believe it or not, is to show up in the summer. You do not want to just arrive in January. You want to be able to ease into this. Trust me, I've seen people do it. I've seen people show up in January and get off an airplane or just pull up in a car and get out of the car and it's just freezing cold. It's too much of a shock to the system. It'll turn you off. It'll give you a bad taste in your mouth. Come in August. That's the time to show up. September's around the corner. The leaves start to change. You just kind of ease into it. But the cool thing about Calgary is the weather is so unpredictable. I mean, one year we had this massive snowstorm in September and it wasn't real cold, but talk about, easing into winter when you see a snowstorm in September. But anything can happen, but show up when it's warm. And like I said, you'll find it a little more adjusting as you do that. All right, tip number 2 for surviving the winter. Look, you gotta be wearing the right clothes in this town. And I mean, don't make the mistake that so many people do. If you're coming here from somewhere warm, don't buy your clothes where things are warm. You know the dumbest thing I ever did? One time I was down in Vegas for Black Friday and I bought this winter jacket down there because it was a Black Friday sale, thinking that I was all smart for doing it. Yeah, I got home minus 20. That jacket sucks. I never wear it. It was a complete waste of money. I want to walk into a clothing store here in Calgary, like a good clothing store that sells quality winter wear. Okay, I like Roots. That's a good store. I like going to Sport Check. They've got good winter jackets. I mean, there's a number of stores. There's a MEC, Mountain Equipment Co-op. These stores have got quality merchandise and they sell stuff that's built for the Canadian winters. And trust me on this, when you're dressed appropriately, it will not feel as bad. And you got to remember about Calgary, you want to layer, okay? Because the temperature changes. We get Chinook blowing in. I mean, it can be minus 10, it can be minus 20, it can be minus 5, all in the same day. So having the proper attire for that, so you're layered properly, it just makes it always comfortable. And you won't complain about the cold as much. And also, your hands. Believe me, get good gloves. Don't be these people that, I see these people waiting for the bus and their hands are in their pockets and they're trying to stay warm. Why don't you get good gloves? Cover your head, wear a hat or a toque if you're from Canada. Put it on you can't believe the heat loss if your head's not covered. And this might be a no-brainer, but wear good boots and get the good ones. Again, don't cheap out, buy good boots. Ones that are waterproof, ones that you can walk when it's cold and they're comfortable. I'm telling you right here and now, if you do this, pay the money because it will cost you a little more to get a good winter coat. I'm just telling you, it's absolutely worth it. All right, if you really do like these crazy videos I put out every week, I'm going to ask you to like it because that's really helpful. And you can subscribe, and of course, you can be notified anytime I do these videos, by hitting the bell button because I do them every week. All right, the next tip is there's other things to be prepared for the Calgary winter. And you hear this all the time, but I can't believe how many people still drive around with the crappiest winter tires. All season radials? No, don't do it. They don't work here, okay? At least get all weather radials or actually put winter tires, but please don't drive your car with all season radials. I see these people in the ditch driving to Canmore and it's not pretty. You do not want to end up in the ditch on the way to Canmore, on your way to going to the mountains in the winter time. The other things to be prepared for is just even the property that you choose to buy or the property you choose to rent. Take a really good look at how are the windows in this property? How is the heating system? Does it have an actual fireplace that's gas? Because by the way, the electric fireplaces aren't that great when it's minus 25 either. These little things you pay attention to can make a big difference. I've also seen people living in houses where they're really old and the windows are not very good and they're renting it and there's just drafts in the house and they're cold all the time, and then they want to blame Calgary. It's not Calgary's fault. Well, you just chose the wrong property. So you gotta basically look at the details. Pay attention to this stuff. It'll make your life comfortable when you live here. All right, tip. This is the best tip I'm gonna give you. Winter comes every year. You have to be willing to accept that. There's nothing worse than being one of these people that just complains about it all year long. And usually the people who complain about it, they don't understand that you can't beat it, so join it. You know, I grew up in Edmonton where it's actually colder there than Calgary. And I remember I had the opportunity of moving down to Arizona and I thought I was in heaven when I went down there thinking, this is great. No more winter. I loved it. Of course, I really hated the heat in the summer, which is what brought me back. But I decided when I came to Calgary way back in 1993, which I'm kind of dating myself saying that, but I decided, you know what, I am going to embrace winter. And so I decided to look at all of the different activities that you can do with winter. I personally took up skiing. I didn't ski growing up, so I had to learn it as an adult, but you know what? Awesome. I love skiing. I just embraced it, started going, I learned how to do it, and now I look forward to winter. I started playing men's hockey in the winter time. You know, it's great. I play 3 times a week. It's fantastic. It gets me outside, gets me into the arena, exercise, a lot of camaraderie with the guys. I know people that go cross-country skiing faithfully. I'm standing right here at Altadore, by the way, one of my favorite communities in Calgary. Notice that there's a track here. This track is actually used in the winter too. I mean, you joggers out there, you can jog in the wintertime as well. You can walk in the wintertime. You can go snowshoeing in the wintertime. You can go hiking in the mountains in the wintertime. You can ride a fat bike in the wintertime. I'm seeing these fat bikes are showing up all over the place. I know people who are really into it. There is no excuse for not embracing the winter. So I can promise you this, if you just find an activity that you enjoy and you just mix it with an outdoor activity that is built for winter, you will not be one of these people that sits around at home complaining about winter. Okay, your last tip is this. Vacation. Take a vacation in the wintertime. And you know what? Tons of people in Calgary do. We're blessed here, by the way, because the flights to Arizona, California, Vegas, Hawaii, Mexico, they're not very far. And if you're really frugal, there's all kinds of deals on Airbnb. There's all-inclusive resorts in Mexico. There's cheap flights to Las Vegas. So, you know, it doesn't take much to be able to just get out of the cold as well. It's really healthy. Just take a break from it for maybe a week. If you can do 2 weeks, it just makes all the difference in the world at withstanding the long winter that we do have here. All right, if this video has been helpful, do me a big favor. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to it, hit the bell button, get notified, because I said I do these videos all the time. And by the way, if you want some more tips and tricks on things to do in the wintertime, I only mentioned a few of them. There's lots of other things. I'm full of them because I've got all kinds of friends and clients over the years that do all kinds of crazy stuff in the winter, and I'll be happy to point you in the direction of even getting involved in clubs and organizations that might be tailored towards the activity that you would like to do.